Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video, and today we'll be doing the part 3 of the build video for the Raptor210. In part 2, we finished up the full physical build, so it's fully ready to go, except for we still need to do a couple things in the computer to set this up. So before we get started, make sure your props are off and your video transmitter antenna is on. Out the back here, just got the board connected via USB, so let's plug it in to the computer here, like that. And it might auto-connect. Yeah, I don't want it to do that. But real quick, since this board already comes flashed with 3.0.1, the Radiance, if you need to check, because I'm going to update, I'm going to reflash the firmware to the newest 3.1.5 or whatever, it keeps changing. You can go into the CLI and type version. And then I'll tell you right here, Betaflight, it's running the Pico BLX 3.0.1 and when it was flashed at what time. So if you don't know what hex file your board is running, this is how you check it. So we're going to go back to disconnect firmware flasher. This one requires, this is the Furious FPV Radiance, no reboot sequence, full chip erase, manual baud rate of the 1152 right there. I'm select Pico BLX right here. And I'm going to choose 3.1.5. That is newest stable. And let's hit load online. This board, I'm pretty sure you don't need to hit the boot button when you plug it in, but if we have problems I might have to do that. But I'm just following what the online PDF manual says for this board. Alright, there we go, and hit flash. And there we go, it's flashing. If you take a quick look up the top, you can see it put it in DFU mode automatically. And we should be good to go. And hit connect. Perfect. So that's good. So we can hit calibrate the accelerometer if you are going to use that here. I'm just going to use it to verify that everything is working in the correct order. So you can see I have the back of the quad facing us. If we pitch forward, you can see the green props to the front with that arrow. That works. Left yaw, right yaw, roll. I just make sure everything works while the accelerometer is on. I'm going to be turning that off. So in the ports tab, go into here on UART2, enable serial RX, save and reboot. And for some reason this board disconnects you twice every time when you save stuff and asks to reboot, but it does save the changes there. So for configuration, this is using the X-Racer Quadrant ESCs, which are capable of D-Shot, but I still need to do a little bit more research on that. So at this time in the video, oh look, oh wait, there's D-Shot. I guess it was because I was on older Betaflight firmware, it wasn't having the option. So I guess I'll go for D-Shot 600. It's worth pointing out here that the Furious FPV Radiance does not support D-Shot 600. I later on in the video have troubles. I do not get the motors to spin up and I have to resort back to multi-shot. The Radiance only supports D-Shot 300 and you have to move the ESC1 signal wire to the PWM pad, I believe. They have a video on their website how to do it, so that's why it does not boot up. Because these can support that. I'm not sure the board, but we'll have to see. And okay, so this will be our throttle percent, our motor throttle. This is new to me. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that there. Turn off VBAT, don't have that. It's actually wrong, the Radiance does measure the voltage, but since I do not have a buzzer or an OSD, it is of no use to me. I'll go to receiver, S-Bus right here, and then select S-Bus provider. Down, no GPS. I'm going to run, the CPU load is at 15%. I'm going to try 8K, 8K and see what we get. Turn the accelerometer off. This will be the Raptor 210 right there. And I will also turn air mode as a feature on, so we don't have to have it on a switch. I prefer to just always have it on, and it just makes it a lot simpler for me. And those are the only features that I use. Just let it go through its little dance there and hit reconnect. Configuration, just make sure it saved everything. There we go. And our CPU load now is at 24%, which is plenty fine. I believe I saw a video from Joshua Bardwell recently that he said with new Betaflight 3.1 and later, the CPU load has actually been reworked, so anything under 50%, don't quote me on this, is good, but it used to be about 25 was your max. But so I'm still good for the old limit, but I don't remember what he said, but 8K on this Radiance. It has the MPU 6000 gyro. We are running fine there. Let's go to failsafe, and I have set up in my receiver for it to send no pulses on my Tyrannus, as well as I clicked the button when my throttle was all the way down, so it should drop anyways, as well as it's great to see this drop is enabled by default now. So that's nice. The defaults are better, but I still always change these to 4 so it goes quicker, because if you have even a whole second of it just floating around, if you're going 60 miles an hour, imagine how far it can get in that amount of time. So there we go. So save and reboot. There we go. For some reason it wasn't saving that. So for PID tuning, looks like we have some new default values, which is pretty cool. Our filter settings, I might actually lower these because of my soft mounted motors, but I'm just going to leave these stock for the video because I need to read up more about those because I've never touched them before. So it all should be good. TPA is actually lower. It used to be 15%. That's interesting. But, okay, here are the rates. So I changed my RC rate to 110 and 110, and I leave the yaw to 70, and I turn these two to 80, but I'm actually wanting to increase my rates a little bit more because that's 1100 degrees. So what does 115 do for me? 1150. So I'm just trying to look at the graph. Yeah, I'll try that. Let's see. 85. The super rate should really affect it. Yeah, 400 degrees more. So I'm going to try that, bumping that up by 5%. Just a heads up for those who watch my channel regularly and are curious about those rates. I actually did not like the 115 at all. It made it very twitchy center stick, so I went back to the 110 RC and bumped the super up to either 81 or 82 to get that little bit faster roll and pitch rates that I was looking for faster flips on the end, but not the middle stick. Because this is a more linear, so you're going to have a straighter curve, basically adjust the whole curve, and the super rate basically adjusts the endpoints. So that should be good. Hit save. Okay, let's go down to receiver. I'm going to plug a battery in because this board does not get, the receiver does not get powered by USB.
Welcome to
on this board. And I got my transmitter set up. I only have one switch set up. That's all I use. Just make sure everything's working in the correct direction. I have my endpoints to 1000, 2000. Adjusted that in the Tyrannus here. Let's just make sure everything is good there. I'm going to add, because my gimbals are pretty old, I'm going to add a little bit of deadband. Probably won't even help, but yeah, let's go for it. There, tiny bit of deadband. Okay, so let's go into modes, and all I have is my arm on my back left switch. You can see there. Just move this over. It's on channel 5, since the first 4 are used for the control. Channel 5 is auxiliary 1, so that's why this is an aux 1. Save. Let's take that switch off. Okay, so that should be pretty good. Okay, so just real quick once again about the throttle. You can see it's hovering just at 1000 right there. And if you notice when you're flying that your throttle, you have to go up to about here before it actually starts to change your value in the motor speed. You have a lot of deadband here. That's the min check value. Since my throttle is hovering perfectly solid at 1000, we can go into here and get underscore min underscore check right there. You can see min check equals 1100. We can copy that, type in set underscore, paste that, and I'm going to equal it to 1005. So there we go, and hit save, and then I'll exit the CLI. Okay, so I'm going to have to, this flight controller might not support D-Shot 600. I'll have to ask more about it. So I'm actually just going to go back to multi-shot here and just leave that as is, save and reboot, because I'm having trouble. Now they're all off, so let's calibrate the ESCs here. Now that we're on multi-shot, so go down to motors, props off, very important, all the way to the top. You can hear that tone, and then bring them all the way down to the bottom. Alright, and now click on the master slider and tab up with your arrow keys to see when the motors start to spin. You can see they're twitching here. And you want to go till they all start to spin constantly smooth without twitching. Right there. Wow. These motors and these ESCs, that's a super low RPM. Holy crap. Okay, so that is at 1020. So you can't leave it at that very low value because if there's the prop on there, it might stall in flight and then drop a motor or fall the air, so you need to give it some buffer room. So let's see what 1040. That's up 20 points. Wow, these motors are smooth. Okay. 1040. Let's go back to configuration and minimum throttle 1040 right there. And min command, I'm actually going to set to 975. It's kind of a little bit more deadband for the disarm just in case. Don't really need it, but save and reboot. Ooh, that was interesting. Alright, so let's actually disconnect, turn on my transmitter here, and we will try to arm with our switch. There we go, that's good. You can see because I set the min check, it's changing the throttle even at the lowest value. Right there, that's our roll. Disarm. There we go, everything's looking very good. And if I go above 1350 and then lower it, if you listen carefully, you can hear the motor starting to rev up. And I'll explain that real quick just because I know everyone always asks this question. It's the biggest question. That is actually air mode doing its job. It's trying to stabilize the craft, but since you don't have props on, it can't give any authority, so the flight controller tries harder to get some kind of response from the gyro, but it's not doing anything, so it tries harder and harder and harder. And Betaflight has reworked that so air mode doesn't become active until you go above 1350 on your throttle. That's so if you're idling at a race ready to start, it doesn't become active until you actually take off, which is a really nice feature. But yeah, that should be pretty much it here. Oh, one more thing, I'm going to check the failsafe. I'm going to arm it and just set my throttle up and shut off my transmitter. There we go. So yeah, failsafe works perfect. So everything is ready to go. I will look into the D-shot issue a little bit more. Once again, it's my very first time ever even trying to use it, so I don't know what's up. But yeah, hopefully you liked this video and found it informative. There will definitely be lots of flights coming soon on this guy. Please subscribe if you aren't already. I'll leave a link down to my Patreon if you wish to help support the channel and you enjoy the content that I make. And yeah, see you in the next video.